This woman is really fierce. After catching a giant bluefin tuna a few years ago, I've been in love with fishing ever since. This tuna weighs over 1,000 pounds. Made her rich. She's the captain this fishing season. Took another beautiful woman out fishing for tuna. 2 days into the fishing season, but they got nothing. They had the worst luck. All the captains have come out to sea. When I found out there was a girl captain, the group of men welcomed it. It's all lip service, really. In fact, no one wants another contender. Jack's team spotted whales feeding nearby. They've got 3 decoys here. Each bait has a different depth. Mackerel is Tuna's favorite food. If tuna shows up around here, I'm sure they'll notice their bait. Soon the pro beeped. That means tuna has appeared. All they have to do is wait for the tuna to bite. Soon the rod is pulled straight away and bent. The boat welcomes the first tuna of the season. They need someone in charge of fishing. One man is responsible for steering the ship. The tuna just bit the hook, and very physical. The fishing rod was torn and hissed. Teammates sense a big tuna. It's hovering under the water right now. When pulled to the surface, Jack's got a harpoon ready to attack. After you hit the tuna, you need to tie a rope around the tail. That's the only way they got the tuna. Less than an hour at sea and back. The fuel cost for the round trip was less than $100. Such a large ratio of income to effort. You really can get rich in a month. When they pull the tuna up, it's a bluefin tuna. It's only 76 inches long. Tuna of this size is very popular in restaurants. When they returned to the port, they began to sell fish. After the tuna was bought, the head and tail are usually cut off. The rest of the body is shipped to Japan. This tuna weighs 243 pounds, 76-inch fish. This weight means the fish is fat. Jack flashed a look of satisfaction when evaluating the fish. The buyer said the fish was nice colored, but not fat. Jack suddenly began to change his face. The buyer reluctantly offered $17 a unit. In the end, Jack and his family made $4,131. It's a waste of money, minus the $100 cost of gas. They make a net profit of $4,000. Another day has passed. It's past 5 in the morning. Otter and they start to get ready to go fishing. You want to find an area where whales feed. You have a much better chance of catching tuna. The day is getting lighter. Whales have appeared nearby. OTT drops the mackerel bait. Last time they watched whales feed, they caught a tuna. I wonder if I'll have the same luck this time. Whales have a very long feeding process. When it was completely light, the detector beeped. Soon the rod was pulled and bent. A tuna took the bait. Fishing for tuna is easy. All you have to do is tighten the line and drain it. Wait until it loses its strength. Just take it in slowly. Only continuous line. I'm sure I can pull it to the surface. After pulling it to the surface, OTT takes the harpoon and bleeds the tuna. This one goes down. Tuna will never see her mother again. They tie the fish by the tail. Everyone rejoiced. After pulling the fish out, it looks very small. It's estimated to be worth a few $1,000s. The fish is 77 inches long. It's basically the same tuna Jack and his guys catch. Cook and his men have been looking for tuna. Just put the bait in the water. The probe soon beeped. The rod responded immediately. Another exciting time. There's nothing a fisherman likes more than to enjoy fishing. Cook keeps tightening the line, but this fish goes crazy every once in a while. The line was pulled a long way. They have to wait for the tuna to wear off completely. Sometimes it takes an hour or two. Dozens of minutes passed. The fish was finally pulled up. Teammates quickly take out the harpoon attack. Hit the tuna right on the body. 4 days to harvest 2 tuna. Cook's team is really too strong. The team felt the tuna was heavy. Upon examination, it was found that it was hooked by the tail. We're lucky we didn't decouple. After pulling the tuna on board, it's 95 inches long. That's a pretty big one. The girls have been at sea for a long time. No fish was ever served. They're using dead fish bait. No wonder we never catch any tuna. When they cast the bait, a tuna appeared nearby. The tuna bites after waiting so long. Michelle keeps tightening the line. It makes my arm ache, but it got pulled out again. This war has been going on for an hour and a half. The longer you're underwater, the easier it is to break. The waves are very big at this time. This can also easily lead to tuna decoupling. Marcia noticed them nearby too, and making fun of their old boat. But in the end, I wish them a speedy decoupling. Otter and his men have returned to the port to sell fish. This one is as long as Jack's fish, but their fish only weighed 174 pounds. It's much lighter than Jack's tuna. Same length, lighter weight. That means the fish will be leaner. But the buyer said the fish had a bit of fat and a nice color. The final price was $16 per unit. OTT and his crew raked in $2,784. This tuna is cheap though, but the acquisition cost is very low. So they will also feel very happy. The tailors are having fun with themselves. They bawl like sheep. And why don't they meow like a cat? Sometimes it's really hard for me to understand their behavior. Tyler and his men are fishing in the near sea. You can see the mountains from here, even if they don't catch any fish. It doesn't cost much. If I can catch tuna, that'll be big money. After the madness, they began to tidy up their fishing rods and start putting out mackerel bait. The next step is to wait for the tuna to arrive. Michelle's still drinking tuna over here. It's been going on for 2.5 hours. If it wasn't for the girl, and that is that this tuna is very physical. which means this tuna is really big. I'm looking forward more and more to this tuna being caught. So far, this tuna is still pulling the line very hard. If Michelle can't catch this tuna, you'd probably jump into the ocean. This tuna can't be pulled apart. Had to hide under the boat. This is very easy to break the line. I wonder if this is tuna. Why so smart? Michelle gasped, directly opened the mouth to scold. Fortunately, the team adjusted the direction of the boat in time, although there are no broken wires. But this fish has been fishing for so long and never caught. The risk of decoupling is still significant. Michelle doesn't have the strength to pull. We have to wait until the tuna is completely exhausted. Cook's team has returned to the harbor to sell fish. They're by far the most prolific fishing team. The fish was caught by sheer luck. This tuna weighs 351 pounds. The next step is to assess the meat quality of the tuna. Fish has more subcutaneous fat. The core is beautiful too. The final price was $17 per unit. Cook's team raked in $5,967. It really paid off for him. It's past 3 p.m. Dave's team spotted a whale nearby. This is a good sign. There are a lot of bubbles under the water. It must be herring swimming in the water. Marsh's team picked up the tuna first. Teammates excitedly wiped the machine. This is such a treasure. I picked up a mackerel bait. Hook up and throw into the sea. It didn't take long for the rod to respond, but his teammate stood in the boat with a fishing rod. Captain Marcia looked amazed. The fishing rod is not fixed and can easily be pulled into the water by fish. Fortunately, the team quickly returned to the stern position. Then came another tug of war. This process must be patient. Tuna swim very fast in the water. It just snapped the line. What a joy for nothing. It's hard to go from happy to disappointed. Thank them for sacrificing a tuna for the show. The pain is theirs. The fun is ours. See them cut the cord this moment. The 98-year-old woman happily wore stockings and ran for a kilometer. Taylor's side has been at sea all day. At this moment, they are desperate to catch a tuna, then go home and have a late-night snack. Sister is constantly changing the bait. It's low tide now. The water level has dropped a lot. The waves also became very smooth. Might have a better chance of catching tuna. Let's take a look at the girls over here. It only takes a few dozen minutes for others to fish, and they spent 5.5 hours fishing. This is the longest fishing captain I've ever seen. The fact that she hasn't caught one means she's not capable. She's got a knack for staying on the hook. The battle lasted from day to night. It's going to be 7 hours soon. How big this fish is. My teammates are getting bored. I thought I caught this fish. They went on for another 9 hours. Michelle is totally exhausted too. Soon it was 11 hours. Michelle still can't get the tuna on board. This fish seems to have inexhaustible energy. Are the tuna lining up underwater to take the bait? At this point, the tuna resistance is very fierce. After 11 hours, Michelle was a little overwhelmed. Keep taking the line. What are you waiting for? The tuna has now been pulled to the surface. Teammates with harpoons waiting for opportunity. Tuna is still very strong. She took the harpoon and hit it. The tuna went crazy again. She continues her attack on the tuna and find the opportunity to tie the tail. The battle lasted 11.5 hours. We can finally declare victory. The tuna is still fighting back. I'm really looking forward to how big this fish is. I waited for 4 days in a row. Fishing took another 11.5 hours. It's the rarest tuna I've ever seen. The news also shocked all the captains. Everyone congratulated Captain Michelle when they pulled the fish out. This head looks really big. It's only 99 inches, but judging by its size, this fish is fat. When they got back to port, it's dawn. They sold the fish to a handsome buyer. This giant tuna is very big. After the buyer takes out the fish template and core, then remove the head and tail. This tuna weighs only 360 pounds. This weight is no surprise at all. The fat quality of fish is very good. The core is also greasy. The buyer says there is little skill in tuna these days, and it looks like the quality of the fish is very high. The final price was $21 per pound. They raked in $7,560. Although the weight of the fish is no surprise, but the price and the quality of the fish are very surprising. What surprises will they bring us next? Look forward to an update in the next video.